It's me again, up in the Great White North. Hello. We got snowed in, so I finally have a free second to make this video. I'd apologize for being in a bathrobe, but also I'm not sorry at all. I'm very comfortable, so we're gonna roll with this. So, I have been told to tell my story, and I have a whole camera reel of wasted footage so far of me trying to tell this damn story, but I don't know which moments to include. I don't know which memories to share, and I don't even know where to start because I really remember very little. So it's very frustrating. I have all these amazing memories and I can't put them along a timeline. All I can tell you is I joined Team 195 against my will. I was coerced by John LaFollette, and I think it's fair to say that I left 195 against my will. Yeah. But if I have learned one thing in my 3 years of university so far, and getting to travel and being really far away from home all the time, I think what I've learned is as follows. Memories are insubstantial. Experiences and relationships are what stick around. And in that regard, I think I'm richer now than obviously when I joined the team. So thank you 195 for that. I joined in the 2012-2013 season, so good old Frisbee year. I was on scouting, of course, because at that time we had no girls in build or design or drive. Wasn't a huge fan of that ratio, so the next year I think it was like a Wednesday night, or no, I think it was a Tuesday night. Funny, I remember that. I think it was a Tuesday night, and I showed up to Tiger with 15 Whopper burgers, and I had made a bowl of ziti, like a big Tupperware bowl, and I basically bribed my way through the front door with food, which is fair enough. The rest was luck, a lot of persuasion, and my lovely personality. And an extensive knowledge of Les Mis for Lance's sake. So I had to win over the big guy somehow, and it was through musical theater. So, yeah, grade 10, man, seems so long ago, but I went to every competition that year just for the hell of it. I mean, also I had an obscene amount of crushes on the junior and senior boy. It was like 6 different people who I was convinced I was going to grow up and marry. And that may have factored into my attendance record that year. I was the mascot. I was the night mascot, and that was fortuitously timed because it was the year of the Harlem Shake. So, I got to dance and raise the roof. I was really hip back in the day, kids. That summer, between my grade 10 and grade 11 year, I tried out for the drive team, and lo and behold, it happened. I'll never forget, it was either Wee Wee or Bash, but I think it was Wee Wee, and we all got in trouble for being up in the locker room. We'd all left we'd left the queue because we had 45 minutes, we thought. And so we just kind of ditched the robot. I think we just handed it off to Fee or something, and we all went up to the locker room at Wee Wee, and we were just we always wanted to find an area for ourselves. And it was just we wanted to hang out, and I think it made us feel really cool and really adult. And we'd been playing in the gymnasium too. They had those rolly cart trays, and we were pulling each other on jump ropes. Anyway, so we lost track of time, and when Gino finally located us, I think we were about 60 seconds away from forfeiting a match, or being late to a match, and Sandra, you were so mad. Oh god, it was funny. It was funny. Oh god, that was fun. Human playing was an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much. I loved being on drive team. My junior and senior year, it was the most incredible experience. I mean, it wasn't without struggle, right? The drive team, the pit team, even the whole team, we're teenagers. We fought, we had drama, people were dating each other, and I mean, it gets messy, but that's why it's kind of beautiful, right? I mean, we are given this amazing little pocket of adulthood to kind of experiment with. Like, we're given responsibility and we're trusted to do things, and we're allowed to build these meaningful relationships with our friends, and I think that's what makes it so special. You know, and plus we all thought we were the smartest kids on the blocks. We were just drowning in gold medals, right? So my senior year, so my grade 12 year was in the 2014-2015 season, and my senior year was probably one of the most bittersweet years of my life. I felt like I was leaving so much behind of myself, and I was, but I was gaining so much. I was older, I was getting ready to go to school, you know, I was captain of 195, I was a captain, I was on drive team again, and I'm proud of myself that I took the time to appreciate the fact that it was my last year. Every day that I went, I showed up with an attitude like, get the most out of this moment because you're going to miss it and you're going to wish that you took your time. So I did. I really slowed down in my senior year. And I realized I had one more winter of all-nighters at Tiger, and one more winter of singing Les Mis with Lance and drinking coffee, and one more season of 10-inch PID loop jokes, and one more season of Misty giving me big Southern love hugs, and Bonnie losing her voice at competitions, and one more season of Steve trying to perfect the scouting tablets and always being afraid he was going to drop them, and just one more season of being with my family. People are always asking, you know, like, what would you do if you knew you had one day to live, right? And people usually answer it at first with bucket list items, like, oh, I'd skydive, I'd go here, I'd go do this, I'd kiss that person I always wanted to kiss, I'd buy the thing I always wanted to buy. But, like, if you get serious, people say, I think everyone would say the same thing, is you'd want to spend that last day with the people that you care about the most in the world, right? And I like to think that that's how I spent my last year with 195. I tried to meet and impact as many new students as I could. I tried my best, along with my graduating classmates, to leave a legacy of professionalism and pride and family. And I mean, we won so many competitions that year. It was easy to get caught up in all that, but I think I'm proud of those, and I'm proud of what we accomplished, but I'd say I'm more proud of all the little things, like the car rides and the coffee runs, and I'm proud of the conversations that happened, and I'm proud of the ideas that were born and the initiatives that we started, and I'm just proud of the family that I spent every waking second with that year. I don't think I would be anywhere near who I am today without 195. I don't even know if I would be here. Like, it was a rough high school, and like 195 was a huge lifeline for me. We always say it's about more than the robots, but I wonder how often we think about that sentence, because it really is. I mean, it's about me, it's about my friends, it's about the students on the team now who don't know me, and that's okay. It's about the mentors, it's about the bus drivers who take us to competitions and think they're having heart attacks, but really it's just indigestion. It's about the corn on the cob vendors at IRI, it's about the roller coasters in Cedar Point, it's about the dilly bars and the face paint and the mascot costumes and the laughs. It's about the volunteers and just everybody. It's about more than just the robots. There was a time in my junior year when I admittedly, like, I was trying to juggle way too much. And that was the first time in my life that I'd ever experienced real mental health problems. And I remember not being able to cope sometimes. And my home life was very inconsistent, so it would either help or hinder on any given day for those issues. But I don't know if you remember this, Gino, but it was in my junior year. I called you before we had drive team practice one night, and I'd been like crying really heavily on the phone. Or like I was trying to hold it in on the phone, and I was like, Gino, hi, I'm so sorry. I can't come to Mohawk tonight. And that's pretty much all I could get out, and I could hear you on the other side of the phone, and you had like answered really cheerfully. And then I heard you take a pause. And you said really gently, "That's fine, Gwen. It's fine. Will I see you tomorrow?" And I just went, "Yep, for sure." And you were like, "Well then, I will see you tomorrow. And you can either tell me everything or you can tell me nothing." And then you just, "Good night." And we said goodbye. And I don't think I ever told you what happened that night, Gino. I don't even know if you remember that, because it probably wasn't that significant. But that was the first night I ever had a panic attack. And if you've ever had a panic attack, you know how debilitating they are. And if you've never had a panic attack, it feels like you're drowning for about 15 minutes. I mean, you can't speak, you can't think, you can't breathe. And I was just sitting on my bathroom floor, crying so hard I couldn't make a sound. Like the guttural kind of crying where you think you're gonna vomit. But it was one of the worst nights that I could, like, it still traumatizes me, like, thinking about it. And your body is exhausted afterwards because you've used up every ounce of adrenaline and glucose that you have. Like, it was just a complete energy burner. And I was a wreck, and I called you that night. And when you answered the phone and you spoke to me so gently, I want you to know that for the first time that night, like, I really felt like I could breathe. And I can't thank you enough for that. And whenever I'm feeling really down, I still think about that. And I know you probably don't even remember it, but I mean, Sandra and Gino, you two, like, God, you're absolute gems. You both adopted me at a time in my life when I didn't feel like anything in the world was good or made sense. You reached out to me, and you didn't have to. And you really didn't have to, but you do. Like, that's what you do as people. And Sandra, I still remember the first, like, organic interaction you and I had. You may or may not remember this. Again, and I'm just picking these little moments out of the air. But we were on a bus to Virginia, the competition that must not be named, and that was in my grade 10 year. And you asked me to come sit with you for a while, and we talked about life in school, and you talked to me about God. And I asked you questions because I'm a really shitty Catholic and I know nothing. And it didn't matter that we were talking about something I didn't understand, or that I didn't have a lot of qualifications in, I guess is the word for it. Because, like, we just talked, like, we had this amazing conversation, and for the first time ever, I felt like I was on a roll, like, intellectually and emotionally. And it's amazing how just that little scrap of compassion that you showed me out of the blue, like, you made me feel special. And it still sticks in my head as if it happened yesterday, because, like, being a young teenager, which is literally the demographic that 195 appeals to, robotics in general, is being a young teenager is the most frustrating age period, because you are bursting with thoughts and opinions that you don't know how to articulate, and the whole world looks at you as if you're just too inept to formulate deep understandings of the world, and so you feel inept because nothing makes sense. And Sandra, like, I need you to know that that day, I felt like you could hear me, like you could hear me. And we've shared so many beautiful moments together. I mean, cake fights, the victories, the losses, the sleepy Sundays at the lake, the time you got heat stroke, the hugs, the Burger King runs, the arguments, the practical jokes. Like, I want you to know that I remember and appreciate all of them for what they built, for who they made me into, and for the relationship that you and I have, because I admire you so much. And yeah, when we first met, you intimidated the shit out of me. I was terrified. But I love you a lot. And Gino Brino, the man. I have no doubt in my mind, Gino, that when you and Lance and Rocco first met me, you had no clue what to do with me. Most people don't. I was loud, I was fierce, I was obnoxious, I had no filter. I was a complete pain in the ass, I acknowledge that, and you let me walk right through the front door. I had so little confidence in myself, but you always championed me. You always saw something more in me than I ever saw in myself. And I think that that's what this team does for kids who feel different. You take the parts of us that make us unique, which are often the parts that make us feel so small and so unwanted, and you look us right in the face and you say, we want you, we value you, and we love you. And it's so powerful. And Gino, I know I don't ever say it enough, but you are like a father to me. And you were a father to me then, and you are a father to me now. And I trust you, I value everything you say. I am constantly, incorrigibly inspired by you, even when you do dumb things. You brought me into your home and into your family. And I miss your relatives more than I miss mine sometimes. I enjoyed your 50th birthday more than any of my own birthdays. I mean, your daughter's wedding was the first wedding I ever went to. You're my friend, but you're my family, and I need you in my life. And it's really hard not being there now, and not being around you guys. And Gino, I only got to meet your father a handful of times. But I remember when you lost him, and I remember how that affected you. And I'm not a religious person by any real measurement, but I believe in God and angels. And I remember that night I said a prayer to your dad, and I thanked him for whatever he did to raise a man like you, so that you could have a hand in raising me. The two of you, just as individuals and as a couple, I mean, you're unstoppable. You foster an environment that brings out the best and only the best in everyone who walks through this door. I mean, you didn't just raise me, you raised Tyler. You raised my best friend in the whole world, and he wouldn't be my best friend if it weren't for this team. I mean, I love him with every bone in my body, and he's someone I will have in my life until the very end. I mean, because I'll never leave him alone, even after we both die. He's stuck with me. But I don't have anyone else to thank. I mean, you took somebody who I didn't see the potential in. I didn't like Tyler, it's no secret. And you presented someone to me with not only potential, but just an unfathomable amount of love and compassion, and you really brought that out in him. And so we just thank you. Thank you both, thank you all. I mean, it's hard being really far away, because I'm always worried that you're gonna forget about me. And I wouldn't be mad if it happened. I mean, I need you, but I don't need you the same way I needed you when I was younger. And it makes me laugh to think there was a time when I did need you, but I didn't want you because I was too stubborn and I didn't know what I was missing out on. And now I know better, and now I want you, but I can't need you. You have a job to do with all those other Gwens out there, and they just need a chance. And they need to be listened to. I guess I will just leave you with this then. It is great to be loved, but it is profound to be understood. And it is so yeah, it's more than just about the robots. And I guess that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I love you, and I miss you, and hopefully I get to see you soon. Okay. Bye, guys.
All the faces we see each and every day. When I get home at night, you're the face I need. And when my mind's absorbed on my private little screen, and I'm walking blind through a sea of unknown men, I hear a voice reminding there across the street walks an old forgotten friend. And we don't have to say a word, it's really better left unsaid. Just lights through eyes recognize all the faces that I know, all the faces that I know, and all the faces we see each and every day. When I get home at night, you're the face I need. When I get home at night, you're the only face I